Hello there. This video is about confessions. Not exactly confessions, it's more like stuff that book nerd is supposed to do, but I don't. So, yeah, it's basically like anti book nerd characters in me. So, yeah, it's gonna be a little different, but I kind of made this as my own tag. So, I tag anyone who watches this video. You can go ahead. So I'm going to list out a few stuff that every single book nerd is supposed to have, but I don't. Okay, so it's gonna be like books that I haven't read, but which was supposed to be read, stuff that I like, which is not supposed to be liked by a book nerd, etc. I kind of picked this video as a perfect cliched synchronization with the cooking birds. So that's kind of good, guys. I mean, I'm actually like in this record building out there. I don't know exactly what this place is all about, but it looks really wicked. So, forgetting about the place, my confession goes something like this. Now, the first few are not really related to books. Let me get started with it. Okay, the first one is actually a really major confession which probably all know by now, but still I wish to say it out once more in this tag. I'm really ashamed to do this, guys, but that's kind of my opinion, so you really can't change it. I love the Percy Jackson movies, not more than the books. I mean, I do love the books; those are the best, uncomparable with the movies. But still, I love the Percy Jackson movies, and that's purely my opinion. And it hasn't got to do anything with the books. I mean, yeah, I understand. Every single guy who has read Percy Jackson book will never like the movie, but still, that's my opinion. So I'm really sorry for that, but I can't really change my decision. So let me be really frank. I remember this one incident that happened with my cousin and me. Like, we had a little argument, and I was like, "Hey, you need to watch the Percy Jackson movies," and she was like, "What? You read the book, and you want a movie? That's the most weirdest thing I've ever heard from a kid who reads books." And I was like, "Hey, you need to check it out." And I skipped the Lightning Thief. I showed her the Sea of Monsters, and for every 5 minutes or something, she used to give me an exclamation or laugh out loud, or she kind of started to love the movie. And by the end of it, she was like actually thanking me. So yeah, she still doesn't do that, because she probably knows that she's not supposed to see the movie, because that will be kind of like discouraging the books. I perfectly understand everyone who has that opinion in your mind, especially those who actually follow Rick Riordan's book release events, because every single Rick Riordan fans will hate the movie, because Rick has himself stated that he kind of really hates the movie. Yeah, I know that, but still, unbased, forgetting the book, just looking at the movie, it's probably the awesomest movie I've ever seen. So that's my first confession. Now I know by the end of this video I would be like lost all my subscribers, and there'll be like more dislikes in this video than likes, and there'll be like abusive comments, and I don't know what else, but still I needed to make this video because I thought I'd be incomplete if I don't confess, and that's really not something I want to be. So my second confession, and this one is pretty funny actually, it's got a little history behind it. It's basically I read in the most peaceful place you could ever think of, with no interruptions and no. I think there is a time limit, but I kind of remove the time limit too. And there is basically just me and the book and another disgusting thing. I read in the bathroom. I mean, not the bathroom where I bath. I hope you understand what I mean. I really don't want to say that, but yeah, I read in the most decent washrooms in my home, because oh come on, stop laughing, because I really that's the most peaceful place I could ever think of. Because see, there is like mainly one reason why I actually go there, because there is no people in bathroom. I mean, even if they are, I can isolate myself. I can retreat from reality, close the doors, and get into my work of reading. I mean, that's like a library to me. Now, I think this is getting really gross and disgusting, but yeah, I've heard people. I mean, I heard this rumors that people do prefer bathroom as a good reading place. So let me know if it was you who has actually like started this trend, and I wouldn't reveal this to anyone. So yeah, that's kind of my next confession, and I told you that there is a history behind it. The thing is, one day I was like just talking to my friend in the school, and we just came across this bathroom situation in schools and how disgusting it is. And actually, I had went to National Science Congress, and that was in a totally new place in a new school, like a different city. And then I had to deal with the bathroom situation, and it was really worse. Uh, so I was sharing my experience with him, and he was sharing his experience with me, and somehow the discussion came into retreating from it. And I said the best way to do it is to read books because I do it in my home. And he was like, "Wait, what?" And then to this day, he is been blackmailing me. I mean, he and the other guy, there are two kids basically, and they blackmail me about my reading in the bathroom, and they kind of always threaten to write it on the board or say it out loud. And I don't think it's embarrassing because that's just the way I am. I mean, if I see a kid playing video games and not reading books, that's really more embarrassing. But still, just to be in a society and to mingle around, I don't want to be that way. So yeah, I'm really scared, but now I'm totally flashed off. I mean, I confessed it across the world with more than a billion users in a video. So seriously, come on, if you're still watching this, you need to know that the blackmailing is over. Alright, so that's my second confession. My third one, now this is probably not a big confession. It's basically, I have more than 150 to 200 bookmarks, but I still use a piece of paper to mark my page. Now, this thing is probably a little common with most of the readers who kind of consume book and kind of like store it for the future, or probably be really careful about the books. So yeah, it's not really a huge confession, but still, that's just the way I am. I have like every single book I purchase from Amazon comes with a bookmark, and then every single book I purchase from Blossoms come with a bookmark. Every single book I purchase from Flipkart comes with a bookmark. I mean, yeah, I do purchase all the books, at least all of them online, and every time I do that, I get a bookmark. Now I have like more than 150 bookmarks, but still I use a piece of the newspaper, or play the worst thing I could ever think of as a bookmark. I still remember this one tiny slice of paper that I used as a bookmark for almost 2 years. Now this is another interesting story. I was like reading The Perks of Being a Wallflower, used that little piece of paper because I didn't have any bookmark. So I used it as a bookmark. Then I used the same thing for the Kane Chronicles, then the same thing for the Lost Hero, and then the same thing for the Paper Towns, and then the same thing for the Looking for Alaska, and then the very same piece of paper for Percy Jackson, the Greek Heroes, and then again for the Percy Jackson and the Greek Gods, and again for let's see, now what else did I use it for? Yeah, I use it for the Magnus Chase. I use it again for the To Kill a Mockingbird, and now I'm gonna use it again for Trials of Apollo. So yeah, that's been like rolling over my books for almost a year, and now it's so nostalgic. I don't want to throw it away. I want to kind of like have it for myself forever. I know that's kind of like the weirdest thing you could ever think of. A piece of paper. Yeah, that's kind of like my little bookmark, which is been with me eternity. So I kind of love that. Now the next few confessions is all about the books that I haven't read and the stuff that I don't know about. So I'm really scared to say this at the moment, so I will leave out all the explanations to you guys. Oh, that's probably focusing really bad. Good. So I'll leave out the explanation to you guys. I'll just be listing out the books that I haven't read, and I'm totally willing to sacrifice my likes, subscribers, and good comments, because at this moment I know none of you will love me, because I'm probably the worst book nerd you could ever think of. On the other hand, every single book nerd feels the same way. So yeah, pretty cool about it. Now the first very confession is something which I'm totally ashamed of. It's basically how do I say this? Frankly, I haven't read The Heroes of the Olympus. I'm sorry. The thing about that is, basically, I'm a little scared to say this at the moment. Alright, I started reading The Lost Hero in my cousin's house again, because I didn't have it at the moment. I completed reading half of the book, and then I purchased it. And then I purchased The Son of Neptune. Like, these two books were already released by the time I actually got into the series. But The Mark of Athena, The House of Hades, and The Blood of Olympus are the books that I purchased as it came out, the day it came out. I mean, I had pre-ordered House of Hades and The Blood of Olympus, and The Mark of Athena, I think I purchased this at least a week after it was released. So it was really a cheer for me, because I had the entire Heroes of the Olympus books. But now the issue was what to read, because I didn't have any Percy Jackson books. So I purchased, I forgot everything about this. I had got a little rumor from YouTube book reviews that Heroes of the Olympus has not got Percy Jackson in it. And then I probably did the foolest thing anyone could ever think of. I started reading The Son of Neptune as my very first Rick Riordan book. And I remember it's basically 3 years ago. So that was really creepy, because I came out with all the spoilers you could ever think of. I knew where Percy was. I knew everything about Camp Jupiter. I knew that he wasn't dead. I knew his memory was Clash. I knew it was done by Hera. Oh my gosh, there was a lot of things which I could not even think of or guess of, that I knew just by reading the first 3 to 4 chapters of The Son of Neptune. Now this was really bad for me, because I should never have done that, but I continued reading it. And I read at least 10 chapters. I read like every single Percy point of views. I read like Frank point of views, Hazel point of views. I even read the Camp Jupiter's like the leader's point of view. I don't really know her name at this moment. Yeah, I think it's Rainia, something like that. So after reading this much, I was like totally nervous, because I thought I was gonna break off, because I haven't even read the Percy Jackson series. I haven't read the Lost Hero. I have never touched any single Rick Riordan book so far, but just read these. And I was totally scared, and I was like about to break down. So I said, okay, no more Who, but I'm gonna start with Pijo. So I purchased all the 5 Percy Jackson books, started reading The Lightning Thief, completed the series in like within 6 months, which was probably a good thing. And then I again started with The Lost Hero. Now at this moment I was really curious about The Lost Hero, because by the end of the last Olympian, Percy was he disappeared. So he was supposed to be somewhere in The Lost Hero, but I already knew that it was like the entire stuff was taking place in The Son of Neptune. So yeah, I was totally scared that I had a lot of spoilers, and I was correct at the record. I started reading The Lost Hero, and every single unanswered cliffhanging question there made sense to me, which was really awkward, because I had already read The Son of Neptune, at least 4 to 5 chapters of it. And then by the middle of the Lost Hero, I lost my pace because I had recently purchased the Kane Chronicles. So I started reading the Red Pyramid. Now I know this is probably the most foolish thing you could ever think of, but then I went again to my cousin's house, probably almost 2 years after the previous incident, and there with her book I again started reading the Lost Hero. I started from the beginning, and then I completed it till the half, like the point where I had stopped reading, and then again I got bored. I probably got bored because of Piper's dreams. I still don't remember the exact reason, but when I came back to my house, I never picked the book again because I think it was the Piper's dreams, because Piper's dreams are the most boring thing you could ever think of. And other than the Piper's dreams, I also kind of felt all the stuff that's got to do with let's see, every single thing in the book seemed boring to me because probably there was no sarcasm. I mean, everyone say Leo is funny, but really he's nothing compared to PJ. So no Leo, nothing kept me, and then I was like poof, gone, and then I threw the book away. I mean, I still have it, I'm pretty careful about it, but still I never started reading that book again. And to this day, I have all the Heroes of the Olympus books untouched and unread. I mean, I haven't even read a single book in that series, though I know everything about it. So that's the thing about me, guys. I mean, this is probably my longest confession. Now, the next few confessions, as I said, I'll be just listing out the books that I haven't read. I haven't read The Hunger Games. I haven't read The Divergent. I haven't read The Maze Runner. I haven't read any Dan Brown's books. I know by this point most of you are quitting the video, but still I wanna proceed because all these books I got for my birthday, I haven't even touched reading it. I haven't read a single dystopian book so far. I haven't read. Now the next one is probably again a little frustrating, but still I have not read any of the Cassandra Clare's books. Mortal Instruments, Clockwork Princess, Clockwork Prince. I don't know. Nah, I haven't read any of those. So yeah, that's kind of it. And now probably the last few were just like going off your ears. You kind of never knew anything about it. Now this another confession is just for the pop culture. I mean, I don't mean anything with this. It's not related to books, but still I know I'm going to educate you even more after this confession. I don't know anything about Doctor Who. Now that's probably the most worst confession ever made because no, like, have you seen a single guy who doesn't know who is Doctor Who? Me, yay. I mean, I don't know any of these modern pop culture TV shows that's like coming out, like CSC and my I don't know what else, Sherlock, what else do you got there, Doctor Who and all that stuff? Nope, none of it. You really ask me, none of it, because I don't like those TV shows. Yeah, I should actually make this confession even more clearer. I never knew what is One Direction until 4 months ago. I mean, 4 months ago, my friend suggested that to me. He actually suggested me just the song Perfect. I heard that and I knew that it was the Perfect. So I started listening to all the other songs and I got into the One Direction saga. But until then, I never knew what was One Direction. So yeah, you get something about me. I'm a classic reader. Even if I read like more classic books than modern books. I listen to more classic music. I watch more classic stuff than modern because that kind of decides who I am. So that's kind of the end of this video, and probably I have agitated you guys a lot in this 20 minutes. Not exactly 20, I think it's 19-20. So I'll end this video over here. Let me know your confessions down below in the comments, and I tag everyone who's watching this video to make your own confession of a book nerd tag. And yeah, if you still love me and if you think these confessions are innocent and it really doesn't decide like who I am, then please give me a like, subscribe to my channel, and compliment me in the comments. So I'll see you guys next time in a new video. So until then, bye.